So we're live. Hello, hello. Megan, I'll let you present yourself, I guess. Let's start with that.
Hello, my name is Megan. My channel is Meg Reads, and yeah, that's basically all I have to say.
What will you be reading today?
I'm reading Amari and the Great Game. It's
Ooh,
the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers, but unfortunately, I'm not loving it as much
no?
as the first one. No, I'm
Oh,
the first one was like a instant favorite, and that one I'm like we're 200 pages in, and I'm not vibing with it as much, and I'm sad.
oh no, that's such a shame. I remember how much
Yeah.
you liked it. I did read it and I did like it as well, but I was curious to see like what the reviews would be for the sequel because I know like sequels are always like hit or miss usually with series like that. So it's sad that you're not enjoying it as much.
It's just I feel like it's taking so long, like because usually with middle grade there's like an intro and it's like this kind of happened in the first book, but I feel like that portion of it was so long it took me out of it.
Yeah, that's a shame. Especially
Yeah.
with a sequel, you would expect that like you're already in the world, so you would expect things to move a lot faster in this case. But
Hmm.
yeah, I guess well, hopefully there's supposed to be a next one, right? It's gonna be like
I already pre-ordered the third book.
okay,
It's
hopefully that one will be better.
but usually second book syndrome is a thing, so I'm hoping that's the case with this one, and then it
Yeah,
picks back up with the third one. So
yeah, because the first one was really good. I remember really liking that one. So
yes,
there's potential there. Let's just hope that the author
yes,
manages to, you know, live up
yeah,
to
or
it.
maybe it's gonna turn around. I'm still halfway, so
Yeah, it's
we'll
just
see.
sad that like you like a first book so much and then you dive into the sequel and you're like, ugh, I'm not liking it as much. It's always like, ugh, I don't know. There's
And
always a little
I was
feeling.
so scared it was gonna happen too, and it there you go.
Yeah. I'll personally be reading Made in Korea by Sarah Suk.
Oh,
I'm almost done with it. Actually, I tried reading it like about a year ago. I received it in a Goodreads giveaway. Actually, that was an ARC, and I was supposed to read it back then. Didn't get around to it for some reason. I don't know why. I started reading it and like I had to put it down. I think I was filming other things at that time. But this year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get through my physical TBR. So this is one of those books, and I'm almost done with it. Like I have about less than 100 pages left, so I'm probably gonna be able to finish it within these sprints. I'm enjoying it so far, but
nice.
it's not like a new instant favorite. Like it's fine, but it's probably gonna end up being a 3 star. But it's still fun. Like
Mm.
I would still recommend it overall, but it's not like a new favorite of mine or anything. But it is a fun story. So I guess we'll see with the ending. Maybe I'd be surprised, but this is what I'll be focusing on first, and then maybe later on I'll pick something else up. But that'll be what I'll be reading first.
Is that YA?
Yeah, that's a YA contemporary. It's about two
Okay.
students who are like competing for like a business thing at school. They both have like I think it's K Beauty, right? Yeah, it's K Beauty. They run their own businesses at school, and they're kind of competing against one another for like who's going to make the most sales. And they're both Korean American, and yeah, so far it's very fun. But it's not like I'm not connecting as much with the characters. So like I like Wes, who's the male lead, but the female lead I'm not connecting with as much, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm not enjoying it as much. I also feel like it's a little bit slow, but other than that, like
Mm.
it's still decently like it's still fun. It's just I was expecting like a little bit more excitement, but I'm not feeling that with that one so far. But it's still like a decent read. Like I would still recommend it. It's just I guess you have to adjust your expectations if you're going to dive into it. And it might just be a me thing too. Like if maybe other people have liked it. I haven't seen reviews for it, so like I don't know what the general consensus on this one was. But overall, it's fun. It's just not a new favorite of mine, but it's still an enjoyable story nonetheless.
Because I've never heard of that one, and I feel like I see a lot of YA, but I hadn't seen it before.
I think it came out last year. Yeah, no,
Mm.
2021. So May 2021. So I got it 2 years ago at this point. Well, about. So yeah, I received an ARC through NetGalley first, and then I won a Goodreads giveaway. So
Wow,
it never
winning a
happens to me.
Goodreads giveaway is like
Yeah, with an ARC too, it never happens to me. I think I won one other Goodreads giveaway. It happened to me twice. The first one was You by Caroline Kepnes. Is that it? The one that inspired the show. And
yeah.
then this one. Sometimes I win, I guess. It depends. Yeah. So I think we'll get started with reading. I have this timer that I found. So I think that's going to be easier than just like me writing down in a banner how long we're going to be reading for. How long did you want to be reading for anyway?
really don't mind. Whatever works best.
Okay, we can start with like maybe 30 minutes if that's okay with you, and then we
Yeah.
can move up or down depending on time. So I'll do 30 minutes like this.
Oh,
Uh,
that's so cute.
yeah, I saw some people using it, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of aesthetically pleasing. So I'll do
It
30
is.
minutes. There's supposed to be like a bell at the end. So be warned, it might
Okay.
surprise you, but well, hopefully it won't be too bad. And we'll get started now. And there you go.
Alrighty.
All right. All right. Let me. The alarm did not go off, so apologies for that.
That's good. At least we weren't scared of it.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't activated. It should have been though. That's fine. It's all right. Anyway, so how did you do?
I was very distracted while reading, but I read like 25-ish pages, which isn't a lot, but you know.
Oh, that's good. I didn't see where I started. I don't remember exactly, but I have about 30 pages left of my book, so I should finish that within the next sprint. I was already pretty close to the end anyway, so made a little bit more progress. It's the most intense part that I read so far, so hopefully everything will end well, but I guess we'll have to continue reading to see.
It most likely will. It's a YA contemporary.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I'm thinking too. I have to start thinking about what I want to read next though, because I don't have anything lined up and I have no idea what I'm in the mood for. So I guess I'll have to figure something out. I don't feel like reading anything on my TBR, which is always my problem. So I need to figure out what I'm going to be reading. I'm sure there's something that would be good. I just need to go through my shelf, I guess, and see what.
It depends what you're in the mood for, because I feel like there's.
Yeah, but that's a problem. I'm in the mood for like everything, kind of. I don't really have a specific mood. Sometimes I know I want to read like a romance or something, but right now I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm up for anything really. So I have a couple of books that I'm thinking maybe, but there's nothing like set in stone just yet. So we'll have to see when I finish.
Do you own this book?
Oh no, but I've read the other book by this author. What is it called? I don't remember, but I own that one and I really liked it.
Read this. You have to get this book.
Really? Okay.
Like,
okay. I'll add it to my
best
list.
book I read in 2022. Like,
oh, what's it called?
It's amazing. It's Our Way Back to Always.
Our Way Back to
you you have to read it.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
That cover. Okay, cool.
So good.
That's my list.
It's better. It's almost better than my favorite Casey West book, which
really
says a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely have to check it out then.
So good.
I love this cover. It makes me feel very like summery, so I feel like this would be a perfect summer book.
For me, it cured my winter depression with all the freaking snow outside.
It is snowing right now.
Oh, it's so disgusting. Yeah, highly recommend.
Oh, well, that's good. I'll have to check it out. I don't know if I'll read a YA contemporary next, since I am reading a YA contemporary. I was contemplating Keeper of the Lost Cities. Is that the name of the book? Yeah, that one I read a chapter of it the other day because I wasn't sure what I was in the mood for, and I tried it, and I was very intrigued by that one. And I've heard that it's like a very entertaining series, and like it goes by really fast. So
it's chunky though. It's a big book.
Yeah, I have it on my. Let me get it. Like it's a
that's it.
But it does seem to be like the chapters seem to be very short. We're talking
and
like
I mean it's middle grade, so it's
so I have a feeling this could be very fun. So that might be my next read. I'm in the mood for something magical, so maybe that could be.
Do you own Skandar and the Unicorn Thief?
No, but I've heard of it.
That book was so good.
Really? Another one that
it's also middle grade. Yeah, and the second one in the series is coming out in April, and the book is kind of like a mix between like Percy Jackson and Avatar.
Ooh, buzzwords
with
for
a little bit of Harry Potter like blended it. It was so good.
Oh, well, I haven't read a lot of middle grade as of late, so I am always looking for more recommendations. So I'm adding that one to my list.
It's a very, very good one. It's gonna be turned into a movie too. It already got a movie deal, and it's like a five book series, I think. So.
Okay, cool. I like that. I'm very excited. This was published last year, right?
Yeah, April of 2022.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking it up on Goodreads right now, and it sounds very interesting.
Yeah. I have the. Wait a minute. I need to show you. See, I have the Waterstone exclusive.
Oh,
it's so nice.
My, I love this. I love when the naked hardbacks are like really pretty. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and this has to do with like there's technically 5 elements, so it's kind of like Avatar where there's fire, water, whatever. Yeah. And each book is like one of the elements. So this first one is fire, the second one is blue, it's for
Oh,
water. It's gonna
oh,
look
I like this concept. Oh, I like this.
it was so good. So
Really?
good.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's added to my list. I'll have to check it out eventually once
It's
I
not helpful because none of them are on your actual physical TBR, but
no, but it gives me ideas for like what I can buy once I read some of the books from my physical TBR because I am making it a priority this year to read at least half of my physical TBR before I purchase new things.
oh
So
wow.
it might take
How
a
many
while.
books do you have?
I currently have 86 unread books on my physical TBR, so it'll take me a little bit of time, but I have read already 12 books in January.
Damn.
Like it's been a while since I've read as much in 1 month, so I have a feeling I could reach it. At the same time, all of the books, like not all, but most of them were like either ebooks or audiobooks. So I'm like, whoops. I did read like things, but I did not read things that were on my physical TBR, though I did read a couple of physical books, but for the most part, it was like other formats, so it doesn't really help me, but we'll get there eventually.
12 books already? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think like December was not that great of a reading month for me. Like I read some novellas and whatnot, but I didn't necessarily read a ton. So I don't know. I guess new year, new reading mood. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I was just excited. But yeah, 12 books, and like we still have 2 days left, and this one will be number 13 technically. So yeah.
Holy crap. I'm on my 4th book.
Well, I don't know how to explain it. I think like I was just in, I guess the weather had to do with it. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like sometimes I read a lot, sometimes I don't. And I guess this month it was one of those great reading months.
Oh,
Hopefully that will follow
wow.
me throughout the rest of the year. But yeah.
I'm jealous. Last year was like the worst reading year I've had in my entire life, and I'm worried it's gonna carry into 2023.
Mm,
I read like 35 books. I've never
well,
read. Usually I read like 80 books a year. I read
okay.
35.
Yeah, I get it. But you were kind of busy last year too. I mean,
Atrociously busy, but still.
mm, that doesn't help. But yeah, I understand. I still read like over 100 books last year, but for some reason I wasn't as into it as I have been previously. So like I read some things, but like not that many things stood out to me. Like I did read a lot, like
Yeah.
average, but yeah, I guess it was like an average reading year for me. Like I don't have like I did have like a couple of favorites, obviously, but I didn't necessarily have a great reading year overall because it was downs and lows. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Apparently 2023 is starting with a bang. So hopefully they'll be the same for the rest of the year, but we'll see, I guess.
Did you read like some 5-star books this month? Like, is there like a solid
There's one
reads or
book
not
that I
really?
really liked. I gave it 5 stars. I think it was "Do I Know You" by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca.
Oh,
That's their new
is
adult
that
one.
out?
I no, not yet. I had an arc of it on the galley, so I managed to read it early. And this one I would
Yeah.
recommend. It's not a trope that I typically would go for, but because it's about two people whose marriage is like struggling, so they go on like this trip and they
Ooh.
pretend that they don't know each other on the trip. So it's like they're meeting again for the first time and everything. But yeah, it's normally not like some trope that I would enjoy, but it really worked. I don't know how to explain it. Like for me, it really worked. So yeah, I would recommend
Oh.
it.
Because I haven't picked up their adult stuff, but their YA was like kind of hit or miss. Like I've had some
Mm.
5 stars, and I think I've had 2 5 stars and 2 DNFs from them. So I'm always kind of iffy.
I prefer their adult romances personally, but I haven't read all of their YA stuff either. So like I have read, which ones do I have? Always Never Yours and If I'm Being Honest, which I liked both of those, but I haven't read the rest. No, not true. I have read like the Academic Rivals to Lovers. It's right here on my shelves. Oh, What's Not to Love? And this one I didn't like as much, but I liked the Roughest Draft and well, the one that I just read, which was Do I Know You? So those I would recommend.
Okay, I'm gonna look
The
into that
Roughest
one.
Draft
I like
reminds me a lot.
the marriage and the marriage one sounds good because it's kind of like the Bromance Book Club, the first one.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that, like the concept. And the Roughest Draft reminded me of Beach Read. It was kind of the similar premise. It was like about two authors, but in this scenario, like they used to be co-authors, and like something happened between them, and so they they did not want to write together anymore, but they had like a contract for one more book. So they went to like this villa, and like they tried to finish out their book together, and like that was kind of very angsty. So if you like that, I think this one would be good too. But Do I Know You surprised me because like the trope did not really call to me, but I read it and enjoyed it. So This is why I think it's my only 5-star read of the month, though I could be wrong. But this is the one that stood out to me. So
Nice.
So, did you want to do another sprint or?
Sure.
Yeah. Did you want to do 30 minutes again, or do we do like 40 minutes, or how are you feeling this? Longer,
Whatever
shorter?
floats the boat. I really don't mind. Maybe 35, like in between.
35? Perfect. I'm just gonna present my screen so we have the timer. There we go. That and 35. And here we go. All right, we are back. Let me stop this. So, how did you do?
I was more productive this time. Like it's getting good, so I'm more invested.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Great. I finished my book personally. I finally managed to do that, and I was trying to figure out what to pick up next. I did talk about Keeper Velocities earlier. This is one that I'm intrigued by, so I might continue it. Or I was thinking maybe I want to read Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. Kind of feeling another YA contemporary, so I might just read both. But I
Mm,
think she's coming out with a new book this year. Did I read that?
really?
Yeah. I feel like I read that somewhere, or is it next year? But I know she announced a new book. I don't remember the plot, the premise, or the title. But I feel like I heard an announcement somewhere that like she was coming out with a new book. So I was like, hey, maybe I could read the last one that I was excited about when it came out, but I never ended up picking it up back then.
It
So
sounds like a good one though. Isn't that like all in the span of one day or a weekend or
yeah, I
something?
think they end up going to New York and like something happens and like everything goes wrong and like these two girls are like stranded or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think it takes place within like a 24-hour time frame. So I am intrigued. I've only just started like the first couple of pages, but already like I do love Morgan Matson, so I have a feeling that I could really enjoy this one. So I'm hesitating between two books. I guess I'll be reading
Mm.
both at the same time. I see that we have a couple of people in the chat. So hello. Well, what is everyone reading? Like I said, finished my book. I was reading Made in Korea, finished that, and now I'm trying to figure it out. um, hello, hi. Oh, Cousins by Karen McManus. I haven't read that one, but I've read One of Us is Lying. I liked that one, but like it was a 3-star read for me, like an average read, but I've heard good things about this one. So let us know what you think about this one. Have you read anything by her, Megan?
I have not. I think I own one of her books. I found one in a thrift store, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much buzz going on. Like she was on the New York Times bestseller list for such a long time that I was like, I honestly don't understand the hype, but I know the show came out and everything. But maybe if I read one of her books eventually, I will understand it better.
Yeah, like I read only One of Us is Lying and I liked it enough, but like it wasn't amazing. I think there was so much buzz surrounding that one that I was a little bit let down by it. But other than that, like if she has other things, I would be interested in checking them out because yeah, like I was intrigued enough, but like not enough to like say it's a new favorite. But I would
Hmm.
be willing to give another one of her books a try.
Yeah, but she has a big backlist now. Like
Yeah, she
she has
published so many things.
so many books.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show either. Like I've heard that it's really good, but I haven't
Do we
looked at
even have access to it in
I
Canada?
don't think so. So that's why I haven't even tried to take a look at it. But apparently, a lot of people enjoyed it more than the book actually. So that's good to know.
Because I think it's on Hulu in the US, but we don't have Hulu,
Yeah,
so
no. So I guess we would have to like stream it somewhere. But like I don't
I
know.
have all the streaming services and I don't think I've seen it. So
Mm,
the joys of being Canadian.
yeah. I'm reading The Chain by Adrian McKinty. I've never heard of that one. So let us know what you think about
Is
it.
is is that a thriller?
Like I said, never heard of it. So no idea what it's about. But hopefully you're
Hmm.
enjoying it. Hopped onto the sprints. I'm trying to finish the Sixth Wheel of Time book. Ooh, that's a chunk, right?
Ooh, yes.
I
I
mean,
know Becca and all of that gang is doing it for I think it's the next Catch Up Book Club or something. Like they're
okay.
starting the series and the books are hella chunky.
And they didn't. I feel like they did an adaptation that came out recently. Am I imagining this, or is it like, am I thinking of
No,
another
I think
big?
you're right. Yes.
Yeah,
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm kind of intimidated by those books, so I don't even know if I want to even try. But
Honestly, I don't think I'm cut out for those. I read. I don't know if you've heard. Wait a minute. It looks tiny, but the Malazan
I,
books.
I've seen you talk about them, but like I haven't. Yeah, they're chunker.
This book nearly destroyed my mental health, so I can't even imagine reading the Wheel of Time books. Like, absolutely not. Like, hats off to you because, oh wow.
I haven't read a lot of like adult fantasy. I'm not a big fantasy reader to begin with. So like I don't know if I would enjoy them, but maybe. I mean, they're popular for a reason, right? But yeah, they scare me. I just joined trying to decide between starting A Court of Mist and Fury and
Ooh,
Full Tilt by Emma Scott. Well, I haven't read Full Tilt, or I've heard of this author, but Court of Mist and Fury is probably my favorite in that series so far. So, yeah, I would lean towards that one, but like, yeah, difficult to say.
I heard a lot from Full Tilt. Apparently, it's very sad, so you gotta be in the mood for a good cry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emma Scott in general is very sad, so
Oh, really? I didn't know. Like, I've heard of her books, but I didn't know that generally speaking they were sad. So good to
yeah, most of them are.
know. Yes, a thriller. So hopefully this is kind of a page turner and you'll be enjoying it. Um, come on. This is actually the longest one in the series by word count. I use it as a weapon. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Oh my god, the longest one in the series, and they're all like massive. So like, yeah, good luck. It is a series on Amazon Prime. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's not great. Oh, okay. I remember hearing like a lot of buzz around the time that it came out, obviously because Amazon Prime was like promoting it a lot. But yeah, it's sad that the adaptation is not good. But yeah, you know.
That one that they compared to like Lord of the Rings or something. I feel like there was something on Amazon that they were like, oh, similar to or like created by the same people. I don't remember, but I feel like I've heard that comparison for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I heard that too. So yeah, I guess it's a lot. Like the Lord of the Rings is so popular. It's like comparing something to that. You have to have something that is going to hold up because otherwise, like people are going to be disappointed.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson is always used as like a buzzword, even if it's like it's a boarding school, so it's Harry Potter, so it's like
Yeah,
thrown so loosely sometimes that.
mm, yeah, I agree. All right. So, did you want to jump into another sprint? Did you like what are we doing now?
I'm following the vibe, so whatever you want.
Let us know, you guys, if you're up for another sprint. I was thinking maybe you could do like another 35 or 30-minute one.
Okay.
But let me just share my screen again. Oh, here we are. There we go. All right. 35 minutes again, or are we doing 30, 40?
I feel like 35 is a good amount.
Yeah, for me that was good too. So let's do 35 again and it started. So we're back. And let's stop this. I completely had like not seen that the timer had stopped. So sorry if it took us a little bit of time to get back. So is your book getting better?
It's so much better.
Yeah?
Yes. I like further than 300 pages now, so it's like in the
Okay.
yeah, it makes me feel better about myself now.
Oh, that's great.
What did you read?
I decided to stick with Take Me Home Tonight for now. I managed to finish the first chapter. Now on page like 30. Yeah. Yeah, I am enjoying it, but so far it's like I'm just at the beginning, so I'm still getting to know the characters. I always forget though that like all of her books are connected. So like she mentioned a character from one of her other books, and I'm like, oh wait, that's true, because all of the books are set in this city in like Connecticut, right?
Really?
Yeah, and they mentioned like Emily from Since You've Been Gone in this one, and like yeah, the characters make appearances in other of her books, so it's always fun. Like it's not like they're sequels or anything like that. You don't have to read them in a specific order, but it is fun that like you get little Easter eggs sometimes. And in this one, I was like, yeah, it was nice to remember that this is a whole.
I didn't know that. I've only read one of her books, which was Save the Date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever read. No. Yes, it's the only one. The writing is very heavy, I find, for contemporary. Like the way it flows very heavily for me.
Yeah. All of her contemporaries are like written in a certain way. I like them personally. She's one of my favorite authors, but it's been a while since I've read one of her books, and I don't know if this one I will enjoy as much as I enjoyed her past work, because I used to love her books, but it's been so long that I don't really know what to expect with this one. But hopefully I like it. I do love this cover, so I don't regret buying it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess I have a question for you. Do you have any books that you're like really looking forward to this year? Like, what's your most anticipated release?
Ooh. My most anticipated oh boy. That's a good question.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at like myself, because I don't know exactly what's coming out this year. So like maybe I'll find out about new things if I ask like people in the chat if you want to let us know what your most anticipated release is. I know there's a couple of books that like I'm really excited about, but I feel like there's so many that are coming out this year that I probably even don't know about. So
I'm trying to look at what I pre-ordered. I know there's the second Skandar book, which I'm really excited for. There's the new book in the like it's a companion series to Kingdom of the Wicked. It's Envy's book, so another of those. What is the name of that other book? Oh, the fourth book in the Nevermore series.
Yeah, that's coming out this fall, right?
Yeah, I think October.
Oh, I'm excited for that. I have that pre-ordered. I thought it was coming out last.
It was supposed to come out.
Yeah, I think it got pushed back, so I was like so disappointed. I was like, oh no, but that gives me time to read the whole series now, because
that's what I had done. I read them on audio to like prepare for the release, and then she's like, oh, it's pushed back another year, and I was like, oh man.
Is the audiobook good? Because I've heard very good things about it.
They're amazing. I love the audiobooks.
I was considering like getting them, so knowing that you enjoy them makes me think it would be a good way for me to reread the series.
It's so much fun. Like it's almost better than just reading them physically. Like to me.
Okay. I'll definitely consider that.
But I feel like I'm not up to date at all this year with the new releases.
Yeah, me neither. I was watching some people like most anticipated releases, and I added so many books to my list that I didn't even know existed. Like I know that Christina Forrest is coming out with, like her first adult novel, like a romance.
Really?
Yeah, it's called The Neighbor Favor, and it sounds so good. I am like so excited for this book to come out. Yeah, so this is one that I'm really looking forward to. There's also like the new Emily Henry that I am always excited about. So there's that. But other than that, like there's not like I feel like there's so many books coming out, but I don't know when they're
very What else? There's the new Talia Hibbert book, but it's YA.
Yeah, this one I haven't heard people talk about it. Like I saw it, but I I haven't seen if people were enjoying it or not, but the concept seemed interesting. I think we're following like an influencer or something. She's
Yeah.
in high school and like they get stranded in the woods or something. They go camping and it goes wrong. I'm not too sure, but like I love Talia Hibbert, so I have a feeling I would enjoy it, but haven't heard people talk
I
about it.
don't
So
know, the fact that it's YA, but there's also a new Casey West book coming out, which is look at the
ooh,
cute. I'm very excited for
I
this.
love this cover.
She has the best covers, honestly.
Yeah.
Always. And there's a new Sarah Adams, the one who wrote the cheat sheet.
Okay.
She's coming out with another book that's
Oh yeah, I see
yeah,
that. I saw that cover. It's really pretty. I
yeah.
love the colors of that one.
There's just too many.
Yeah, so little time, so many books. um. Oh, I see here. I just started The Disaster Tourist. First time here. The Disaster Tourist. I feel like I've seen someone talk about this one. I don't remember who it was though.
I've never heard of it. Is it like a Japanese? I'm assuming.
Yeah, from the last name, I'm assuming it's someone that's Asian, but I don't know exactly where from. But let us know what it's about because I feel like I don't know who it was and it's bothering me that I don't know. But I feel like I saw that title mentioned once. Oh man, it's gonna bother me not knowing, but it's all right. We'll move on. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking about that. So I guess we can either read again or maybe let me just I had like a list of things that we could talk about just to make things a little bit more interesting so that we don't oh, so excited for Happy Place. Oh yeah, exactly, me too. But I guess kind of wanted to talk about goals for the year. Like I know we're already in January, like almost February, but did you have any goals for this year that you're setting for yourself or
This year is a very rough year for me because I'm graduating, so I don't know if I'm
Mm,
going to be going into either a master's degree or if I'm going to start work full time. So because
okay.
of that, it's very difficult for me to like plan out goals. And last year was very rough because I have 2 jobs, 3 classes, my internship 3 days a week.
Oh god.
So I'm like very overwhelmed. So I'm like, how about I don't set any goals and I just kind of roll with it. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Well, best of luck with everything. I know that's always a difficult time in the sense that like you don't know exactly what you want to do after. I know when I graduated, I was like, do I continue in like education or do I go into work? And I decided that I wanted to work. I was kind of fed up with university at that point. But yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I think that can be a difficult time. So hopefully that won't be too hard on you. I know it's not easy figuring out what you want to do with the rest of your life. So
I am so tired, but at the same time, like I do still want to like read, but like usually my reading goal is like 52 books, and I put it to 35 this year, and I'm like, I just so like, I just want to have time for my hobbies, you know. That's just
that's good too. I mean, even myself, like I set a reading goal this year, but like not in terms of like number of books. I would rather focus on quality this year than quantity. So like, yes, I set 100 on Goodreads because I know I usually read about 100 a year, but uh I don't really care about the number this year. Like, yes, so far I've read so many books. I'm really happy about that. But
uh-huh.
yeah, I guess I have more personal goals and like life things that I want to achieve this year rather than like reading stuff. Like, yes, I want to continue reading and like making that a priority, but I would rather focus this year on me and like self-care because like it's been difficult the past couple of weeks and months. So I just want to make sure I prioritize other things. Well, reading is one of those things that I consider to be self-care, but like I want to take time to do other things and yeah.
Well, especially if you create content with reading, it becomes more stressful than just reading for fun whenever you want. So that's
Yeah.
also kind of
And also I work in marketing, so I feel like I'm always doing things that are even if I'm not like working on like my client, I work for an agency and like we have clients who do YouTube stuff, but I don't necessarily work full time doing YouTube stuff for them. Like
yeah.
we help them out with other things, but I feel like it's always related to like what I do at work. So sometimes it's hard for me to like differentiate work from like other things in my life just because they're kind of connected even though like I don't do exactly the same thing, but yeah, makes it a bit less fun, but I still enjoy creating content around reading. It's just that sometimes, especially lately, work has been a lot, so it's been a little bit more difficult to create that balance between the both. So my goal for this year is to read 30 books. Well, good luck. I don't know where you are at right now, but I feel like 30 is a pretty achievable goal, I think, depending on how you read, how much you read usually. But
Because
I
I
feel
mean,
like,
it's still a lot more than the average person. Like for
yeah,
the booktube community is like, oh, I read 500 books a year, and I'm like, the normal person might read like 5 books in a year. So it's
mm,
so hard to kind of find the number that works for you with like being out of your comfort zone, but also not making reading not fun.
mm,
It's such a weird vibe.
yeah, it's kind of hard, like to, because I watch a lot of booktube content. So when I see other people's goals, I'm like, am I going over the top? Am I like, is it normal? But if I compare to like people around me, I'm like the person who reads the most out of my like all of my friends and like coworkers. So even my family, I'm the only one who reads in my family. So it's like, okay, maybe it's like 100 books is a lot. Like if you compare to some other booktubers who read, like I saw someone who read like 300 books in a year, and I was like, how? I don't even have time for like well, 100 is okay for me, but even then it's a lot, like when you count the number of books. So 300, I'm like,
And there's a lot of people, like I feel like half the people I follow on like TikTok and YouTube, everybody's like, "Oh, I read like 356 books this year. Here are my top 10." And I'm like, "What the like
how?
how?"
I'm like, I don't understand. Like, how can you, like 300 books would mean that you're reading like almost a book a day. So I'm
But some
like,
people read like 2 books. I follow a girl, Jen from the Book Refuge.
okay,
I don't know if she reads like, I swear to God, 15 books a week at least.
that's
Like it's insane. I don't know how she does it.
insane. I like, even someone who, like, I read like 13 books, and for me that, for in a month, and for me that's a lot. So I'm like, you read that in a week, and like even more than that. I'm like, yeah, good for them, I guess.
Some people, it's their full-time job too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know.
There's that to consider as well. Disaster Tourist is Korean. Oh, okay. I just started it, 26 pages in, and liking it so far. It's about a woman who works in a travel agency whose destination are disaster sites. Interesting concept.
That
I
sounds so cool.
I feel like the discussions would be interesting in that one, because like if you're a tourist and you're visiting like disaster sites, I feel like there's a conversation to have there. So I'm intrigued. I'll have to check it out. I'm almost done with my 5th book. I could have a bigger goal, but don't want to stress out. I think that's valid. Like, I think this year for me, at the very least, it's going to be a year where I would rather read things that I enjoy than like have 100 books right on at the end of the year. Like, I
Yeah.
set a goal on Goodreads, but I don't really care if I reach it or not. To be honest, I'm like, I'll set it just to have a goal, but don't really care. So,
I mean, it's not going to change anything in your life if you
no,
don't.
like it's not like I get a medal or whatever if I read 100 books. It's like, okay. So, what are you going for, quality over quantity? Yeah, I love being on BookTube and Bookstagram, but it's put so much pressure. Yeah, I get that. I feel that as well. Like, the past 2 years have been a little bit easier for me. Like, in the sense that I feel like the years before I was like, oh, I need to read 100 books, otherwise, like, I'm not a booktuber. Like, but now I'm like, I don't care. Trying to get out of the mentality. Yeah. To be moving to the next books as fast as possible. That's a good goal. Sometimes I need a break in between books though. Like recently it's happened to me, but I feel like if you're motivated, it just keeps on going. So hopefully
But that's also the thing, though. I think when you put too much pressure on yourself, reading doesn't become fun and you're not going to read as many books. Like, I rather read what I want to read and just like binge books when I'm in the mood to and not read for 2 weeks if I don't want to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, reading is for fun. It's like if you like, forced yourself to watch a movie. No one does that. So why would you force yourself to read a book? You know?
exactly. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I always set a low goal and just chill. That's a good, like I see people who do like one book as their good read goal, and I'm like, I like
I
that.
like that.
No pressure. I'm uncertain how you can read so many books in a week and actually properly take in the material you're reading. I guess it depends on what you're reading as well. Like if it's, let's say, children's books, they're usually much shorter and sometimes there's less words. Or like I know some like romance novels are like super short, like it's novellas and not like full on novels. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I feel like to each their own, and some people are just a lot faster to read too. Like, not everybody has the same reading speed or the same amount of time, but I think you must get stuff confused at a certain point. If you read 300 or 400 books in a year, like you don't get the full experience, I find.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't set a reading goal this year. I'm not even Goodreads anymore. I'm using like Storygraph as well. Like this year, I use Goodreads just because I feel like it's updated. Like I like the community aspect of it, and I feel like on Storygraph it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm using both right now. Like I really like Storygraph and like the stats that you get. I feel like that's really interesting. I
They're
really
so exciting. I love those stats.
yeah, I feel like it's a lot more in depth than what Goodreads gives you. And I like the reading challenges too. Like I saw that there were like some fun ones. So like it's fun to see like how you can complete challenges with like your books. And yeah, Goodreads is a little like I like the like I said, community aspect of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I find out about new books through Goodreads more than I do through Storygraph. But sometimes it's just like, I don't know. I don't love Goodreads as much anymore. I feel like yeah. I kind
It's
of
very overrated. It hasn't been updated in years.
I
And
hate the interface. Like,
And
oh
I
my
also
god.
think that like Storygraph is much more aware for like content warnings and those
Mm,
kinds of things. Like it kind of evolved with the reading needs of people. It's more, it's not by Amazon. Clearly, it's created by people who are
yeah.
readers, and it really shows in how the app was developed, I think.
Mm. It's created for readers, so I feel like they like it's probably people who read who created the platform. So like it's created by readers for readers. So I feel like they're more aware of what we would want to know as a reader, as someone who like reads, rather
Mhm.
than reads where it's just like about ratings and reviews and almost like I feel like it's almost like about likes and like how many followers you have and whatnot. Whereas with Storygraph, like I just like to record my rating, like my ratings and like my stats. Like I like to know what
Yeah.
I'm reading and when. But like other than that, I don't really care about like how many people follow me on there. I'm just so. I wonder if they just skimmed the books. Well, maybe. I don't know. Who
That,
no,
that,
I'm
that would be a terrible thing.
I am addicted to updating my Goodreads. I feel like with the goal, like, oh, you're 3 books behind schedule or you're 2 books ahead of schedule, it can get stressful. But yeah, I guess
Well, just, like, updating, like, percentage-wise, like, I'm the kind of person who every time I finish, like, putting a book down for a day, I need to update it to see, like, "Oh, you're 73% of the way through a book," and I'm like,
mm,
"Yay!" It's
that's
so
encouraging.
motivating.
I'm on Storygraph for my day-to-day tracking and Goodreads to categorize and track my TBR. Can pick between because I like the features of both. I feel like they both have different things that you can enjoy, but personally, I like the stats aspect of Storygraph a lot more than Goodreads. But yeah, I guess it depends on what you are looking for in a platform like this. I know some people like want the community aspect, so Goodreads is good for that. But Storygraph is really great in terms of like personally, I find that the stats is like what I enjoy the most out of Storygraph so far, but I haven't used it to its full capacity yet. I feel like I'm still getting used to it.
The only thing I feel like all of the platforms I've tried lack is actually giving good recommendations, because you
Mm,
have the, like, personalized recommendations, blah, 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 and I'm like, this does not like, none of the books ever fit the vibe I'm looking for. Like,
mm,
I don't know
that's
how
true.
they created that, but it just doesn't work. I tried it on Storygraph too, and I'm just always so disappointed.
Huh, interesting. Well, I haven't tried the Storygraph version of that, but Goodreads is just like all over the place. The recommendations, I'm like, yeah, I don't trust that.
So bad.
That's the tea. For recommendations, I don't care. I don't take them from anyone. I guess that could be like I take my recommendations mostly from people like either on BookTube or like Bookstagram or whatever. If I see a book somewhere or someone in my personal in my personal life recommends me a book, I'll check it out. But it's something that I struggle with, like discovering new books. Like I mostly find new books through other people, like let's say BookTube or whatever I'm
Yeah.
watching. So sometimes it can narrow down my like depending on who you follow. I guess it can get a little bit harder to keep track of it, like of like diverse recommendations. I guess it really depends on who you follow.
But I feel like it was also easier in a way when none of this existed because I would go
Yeah,
into a bookstore and I knew what I liked to read. But now with the internet, I feel like you get FOMO for not like reading all the hype books. And then you go into a bookstore and you're like, I already know all of these books. Like, this is not what I want to read. And it's so hard to find books that you haven't heard of or, depending on the community and the books you read. But like, it's tricky.
yeah, and I feel like I enjoy going to bookstores less than I did before because I always go to the bookstore and I know what I want to buy. I feel like I
Yeah.
don't go there to just browse anymore and like discover new things. It's always like, oh yeah, I've heard of that one, and if I haven't heard of the book, I won't pick it up. But in reality, like there's so many books that I'm sure I would enjoy if I just like tried to pick them up and like read them. So yeah. I always end up hating what I'm being recommended since books are so hit or miss. I guess it depends on what you take your recommendations from. I guess like with booktubers especially, or like book influencers, whatever platform you watch them on. I feel like if I find someone who has a similar reading taste than I do, like it's easier for me to trust their recommendations. But there are some people who I know like I don't align with in terms of like reading. So I sometimes I'll take their recommendations with like a grain of salt, or I'll want to check it out because like they did a great job at talking about the book, but I don't know until I pick it up if I will like it or not. So the FOMO is real. Yeah. That's the thing with like all of this recording of what you read and like sharing it on the internet. I feel like there's books that get really hyped up, and if you don't read them while everyone else is reading them, you're like, oh, I'm missing out.
And usually you're not, because
No, most often than not. Like I feel like the books don't live up to the hype. So I would rather read books that I haven't heard of before, just because usually there's no expectations diving into them. So I enjoy them more usually. I've read so many book talk books now. I don't read fantasy YA books anymore. I haven't read that many book talk books, but I don't follow book talkers. Like I use TikTok, but I use it for like lifestyle things. I try to see bookish content. Usually it's like I end up seeing some stuff, but I guess my algorithm has just not been recommending me book talk. I don't know.
It's every time I open TikTok, it's just books. But I mean, I read mostly romance, so it's very like prominent on BookTube, and it's always on my algorithm all the time.
But yeah, I feel like the books that are popular on Book Talk were once popular like on BookTube. Like I feel like there's either like very niche and indie stuff, or old things that like I knew about when I first started my channel, for example, that were popular back then and they are like gaining a like a second life, I guess. I don't know how to explain it.
A lot.
Who are some of your fave booktubers? Ooh, that's a good question. Don't know if you want to start, Megan.
You could go ahead. Go right ahead.
Lately I've been really enjoying well, I always like Alexandra Rosalind. She's one of my faves. I really like her vibes. Books and Lala, I love her vlogs. The concept, like my reading taste and hers really just don't align, but I love like how in depth she goes with her concepts. I'm like blown away. I also like Olivia Reads a Latte. I love her vlogs and like her cozy vibe. So those are like the top of mind people, but I watch so many people that like I'm sure I'm missing out on some.
I feel like most of the booktubers I watch don't have the same reading taste at all. Like I watch Gavin all the time, like How to Date Gavin, Becca from Becca in the Books, Jade from January Reads. I like they're my main people. But if not, who else do I feel like I watch a lot of smaller booktubers too.
For some reason I'm just naming big booktubers right now, but I do watch some smaller people. Let me just go to my feed on YouTube.
That's what Oh, Kara's Bookshelf. I absolutely love Kara's Bookshelf. She's amazing.
I'll have to check her out. I feel like I haven't been watching as much like new people on BookTube recently. I've been sticking to like my main people, and I kind of want to kind of just widen my horizons. So I'll check her out for sure. You said it was Kara's Bookshelf?
Yeah, she's very funny. Like she does TBR Tinder. It's her like TBR game. It's hilarious. I love her.
Yeah, I thought that she just uploaded one apparently. So
yes, for February. There's also Taryn Lay Reads. She has a popular Instagram, but she recently started like BookTube. I really like her.
Cool.
Yeah. There's just so many people out there.
Oh, so many. I love BookTube and hate BookTube. Well, I feel like it's two different vibes. Like the people on BookTok and BookTube are very different people usually.
I don't think people do it for the same. Like BookTube is more to me like community, like long form videos, and kind of. Whereas TikTok is just kind of recommendations all the time. It's not necessarily, it's nothing really more than that. So
yeah. Alexandra Rosalind put so much effort. Yeah. I feel like her videos are just next level in terms of the editing. I'm like, I could never. I don't know how she does that.
And she's so adorable. Like she has such a cute personality. She's
She's always so excited to talk about the books that she's reading. I just love that. Books and Lala and Emmy. Yeah, I watch Emmy too. I watch mostly her vlogs, but I do enjoy the rest of her content as well. Like,
Yeah, she has very, very different reading tastes though. Like, but it's cool to see because she's Canadian, right?
yeah,
And like her and Books and Lala, it's nice to see like Canadian people gain traction on the internet and not just the US, you know?
and she films mostly on her phone too, which I find to be like relatable in a way because I feel like a lot of people think that they need to go into booktube with like the cameras and whatnot, whereas like Emmy grew with like mostly her phone. I think
That's
now she has
true.
a fancy camera, but for a while she was just using her phone and like she still blew up. So I mean, good for her. I don't remember their names, so I don't know. Check out Reading Off Grid. Oh, okay. We'll look into that for sure. Let me go and add that. Reading Off Grid. Off the Grid.
Oh, I can't even type. Wow.
All right. On BookTube, I love the rants and reading sprints. Personally, I love watching. Well, rants can be fun depending on who's doing them.
Yes.
But personally, I love vlogs. Like this is the only, not only, but mostly this is the only content I consume on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, I watch other things as well, depending on who's doing it and what it is. But I think recommendation videos and like vlogs are what I watch the most. But I love other things as well. It's just, yeah, I guess because I produce that kind of content, I guess this is what I'm feeling inspired by, and this is what I like to watch. But yeah, what about you?
I feel like I really like wrap-ups. Like I'm probably one of the only people, but like people who read a lot and do like weekly wrap-ups and those kinds of videos, I feel like because there's so many books out there, actually getting someone's opinion on a book and not just seeing someone like, "Oh, I bought this book and I bought this book," and like actually hearing someone talk about it, it's easier to make a decision after. So I really like those videos.
Yeah, that's true. I don't watch them as much, but sometimes depending on who's doing them, I'll depending on like if our reading taste aligns or not, I'll watch those. But I guess it depends on what I'm in the mood to watch at that time.
Yeah.
But usually, yeah, this can be a good way for to discover new books, I guess.
But I vlogs are also a classic. I think vlogs are just the
Yeah, they grew so much too. Like I feel like a lot of booktubers who weren't doing vlogs kind of like fell into like the vlogging trend because it kind of is what is making people blow up a lot. I guess so. It's interesting to see the trends changing on booktube because when I joined it was all about like wrap-ups and TBRs, and now it's mostly like themed reading vlogs and whatnot. And I feel like the content has changed a little bit.
These reading vlogs are so fun, but I do not have enough creativity. Like Gavin, he goes all out all the time.
Some of these people, I'm like, I don't know how they do this. Like, I'm so like, I've been struggling with vlogging recently. I just feel like my vlogs are not that fun. But I watch other people's, and I'm like, yeah, how do they make their daily life so interesting? Like, I'm watching people who I'm like, how?
Like I wake up at 4 a.m. Like my life is not that fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I go to Bookstagram for aesthetics. I stay on BookTube for in-depth conversations. I feel like that's pretty much standard. Yeah, I agree. American, but I'm pretty sure 90% of the YouTubers I watch are Canadian. Really?
Really?
Let us know who you're watching, because like I feel like I'm not watching that many Canadian people. Like a couple, but like not that many.
It's so
like,
hard. And I've done like actual searches to try to find more Canadian people, and I never find any.
Yeah, it's difficult to find them. And I feel like it's either like the American booktubers or like UK people. Like I feel like those are the people who are like I guess it's normal because I create content in English, I consume it in English. So I assume that like that's where most people would be from anyway. But still, I feel like we need
most Canadians are from Ontario. Like
that's true. Yeah.
I think the only other person I know who's from Quebec is like Read with Andy.
Okay.
She was from Quebec, and that's the only other.
Okay. I know of Sarah the Dreamer, who is also from Quebec. But that's it. Like I don't know that many people. So yeah. I love Canadians. For booktubers, I like James Toulouse. Oh, don't know them.
I don't know that name either. My list is getting long of people to go watch.
Interesting. I see content, but okay. Seems to be doing fantasy for the most part.
Ah, that's probably why.
That's probably why I don't know about them.
Oh, he's very popular too.
Yeah, it has like over 100,000 subscribers.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes. Oh, his videos look funny. Oh, that's a vibe.
I love discovering new people, so that's cool. Were you up for like one last sprint? What time is it?
Sure.
4? Okay, we can do maybe like one last reading sprint. Let me just figure out. Maybe we can do like 30 minutes to wrap it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
And let me just share. Oh, that's fine. My screen again. So we have the timer. And then here we go. Save. And then let's go. So how did you do?
I did good. I'm almost done now. I only have like a little bit
Oh,
left.
that's cool. Awesome. You're probably going to be able to finish it soon then.
Hopefully, because now I'm really invested. I take back what I said before.
It was a slow beginning, but it did turn out to be something more fun. So that's cool.
Yeah, probably not a 5 stars, but like a 4, 4.5
We
ish.
still like those. I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it.
It's a win.
I got to page 62 of mine, so I did manage to read quite a bit. I'm enjoying it, but like they haven't gone to New York yet, and
Jesus.
yeah, but they're getting there. So like right now they're in the plotting phase. They're like, oh, how are we gonna go there without our parents knowing? So
That is so typical of YA. Let's go to New York without our parents knowing about it. Okay.
but so far it sounds fun. Like I typically like Morgan Matson, so I have a feeling that I could enjoy that one. So
How
hopefully,
long is it? It looks very chunky.
it is like the font is quite small, to be honest.
Oh.
Like, yeah, for a YA, so and it is kind of a chunker. It's nearly 400 pages.
Wow.
So I have a feeling it'll be something that I'll be carrying over to February. I probably will not be finishing that before the end of the month.
Her books are always so long.
Yeah, I do enjoy them though. So like I have a feeling that, well, I hope at the very least that I will enjoy this one as much as I did the others.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. Oh, I just noticed that there's like some back art like on the back.
Ooh,
Oh well, I don't even know what it's about. So
the dog. I don't know if the dog's face.
scares me every time I take this book. Perfect timing to end a chapter. Well, awesome. Like that. I like when you can end like either at the end of the page or at the end of a chapter. I feel like so satisfying. It wasn't the case here, but I like when that happens.
Same. I'm like right in. Well, it's kind of like a chap. It's not the end of a chapter, but you know when they switch sheets.
Oh yeah, there's like a space like to tell
Yeah.
you that there's gonna be. Oh, that's cool too. Well, I guess I'm gonna stop these sprints here. We've been sprinting for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, then like time went by so quickly I didn't notice.
It did.
It's already like, oh, it's not dark quite yet, like outside, but it's getting darker. Like
Yeah, it's depressing. It's
so much
depressing. So much snow.
I do like it. It's very pretty. Like it looked like a postcard, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm ready for winter to be over.
It's too much. The last few weeks, too much.
Yeah, and like especially in the last couple of days, I don't know about you, but where like here it snowed like so intensely, like from Wednesday until like I think it was like Friday. It snowed
Yes.
pretty much like nonstop.
And it's
No,
back
like-
again today.
Yeah, it's starting again. It's
But I think it's
pretty,
gonna snow tomorrow too.
Oh no. Thankfully I don't have to go into the office tomorrow, so like I can just stay home. But yeah,
Good.
I like that. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for everyone who decided to join us on the live sprints as well. I had such a great time, and I'm hoping to do them like more regularly. I'm thinking maybe once a month, but we'll see. We'll see if I end up sticking to my New Year resolution or not, but we'll see. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Megan, for joining me today, and I will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.